What's going on YouTube? My name is Batman, and today I want to talk about how to achieve success and growth on YouTube itself. Now for those of you who, like me, cannot sit through more than the first 30 seconds of any video, here's the gist of what you need to know. I've broken YouTube growth down into a mostly scientific but not really formula. The equation is thus: search traffic plus additional traffic multiplied by the quantity of your videos divided by the quality of your videos equals your total views, which divided by the quality of your work once again equals the amount of subscribers you gain, and your subscriber base multiplied by the quantity once again divided by the quality of your videos equals search traffic plus additional traffic. It's cyclical. Now we're going to spend this video breaking down each part of this equation, but what's important to understand is that it is cyclical. Success begets success, right? The more search traffic you get, the bigger your channel becomes, the easier it is to get search traffic, and thus the easier it is to grow your channel even bigger. Now, despite popular belief, it is very possible to break into this cycle even without any subscribers. The SEO strategy I'll go over in this video applies to channels with 100,000 subscribers as much as it applies to channels with 0 subscribers. It seems like a lot of people are mistakenly under the impression that at 0 subscribers they don't stand a chance in the search engine, so they should spend all their time and energy sucking up for shoutouts or some type of publicity to get the ball rolling. But the truth is, your time would be much better spent trying to break into the search engine, because it is very doable for any YouTuber willing to work hard enough to drop 10 to 50,000 views on a video even with 0 subscribers. This is the video that got me my first 500 subscribers. When I originally posted it, I had about 12 subscribers. It went on to get 30,000 views. I posted this video when I had 700 subscribers. It got 40,000 views, which brought me from 500 to 1,000 subscribers. When I posted this one, I only had 10,000 subscribers, which brought me even farther. And then finally, when I posted this one, I only had about 15,000 subscribers. It is now rapidly approaching 1 million total views. I got lucky the first few times, but I studied those first videos in the analytics. I figured out how to replicate that success, and now I can do it over and over and over again, and you can too. It took me 2 years to reach 70,000 subscribers, but if I had known then everything that I know now, it would have only taken me 1 year, because 50,000 of those subscribers came in the last 6 months. And I want other people to understand this SEO strategy, because I know that some of the highest quality videos come from the smallest channels. And the tragedy is that oftentimes these high quality channels die out. The channel owners give up, because despite having great videos, they're not getting anywhere. Because to be successful, you have to not only be a great video maker, but also a great marketer and networker. Two very different skill sets, both of which require a lot of time to develop effectively. The goal of this video is to ultimately carry you a significant way up the learning curve and across the skill gap, so that your success on YouTube will be dependent entirely on the amount of work and the quality of the work you put into it, and nothing else. No more being held back by arbitrary nonsense. I'll include a table of contents in the description below if you're looking for a specific topic, but I do recommend taking in everything in order, as each topic sort of intertwines and relates back to various other topics. And also, I'm going to be using myself for most of my examples. I run a gaming channel. Statistically speaking, 50% of you are interested in running a gaming channel, but I'm also going to make sure to try and keep the information accessible, relatable, and useful to any kind of channel. Just anytime I mention a game, fill it in with a news story or a tech product or whatever topic you're interested in. Frankly, you have to be creative enough to do that kind of exercise if you're serious about surviving on YouTube in the long term anyways. Now, we'll start with tags and titles, optimizing your video in the search engine. Although this is not the most important thing to worry about, it is the thing that most people are concerned about most of the time, so we'll get it out of the way first. Your ultimate goal when optimizing a video's metadata is to get your video to the front page of as many different search terms as possible. To do that, you need to first take multiple popular search terms or phrases and combine them into one coherent title, centering around one topic. So for instance, this video you are watching right now is titled, How to Start and Grow a YouTube Channel and Get Subscribers Fast Using SEO Tips. What I'm attempting to do is bring in traffic from a wide array of searches all at once. Those searches being, how to start a YouTube channel, how to grow a YouTube channel, how to get subscribers fast, and finally, a play for YouTube SEO searches. That's 4 different search terms or phrases, all of which I know are relatively popular and high traffic, because when I enter them into the search, the autofill has 10 separate results, which tells us many others are searching some variant of this term, which tells us that it's high traffic. So this video will bring in a strong amount of traffic from 4 different types of searches, whereas had the title been something simpler, like just how to grow a YouTube channel, then in theory I'd only be bringing in like a quarter of the amount of traffic that I would be compared to my fully optimized title. Never waste a word in your title. try to fit at least 2 different search terms into one title. And generally, you want to use as many characters in your title as YouTube will allow you, so long as they all revolve around a central topic. Now, in the tags, you have 2 options. The first is to re-emphasize the key phrases you were going after in the title, or what I'm going to do for this video is enter in key search phrases that I wasn't able to fit into the title coherently. For instance, things like how to get big on YouTube, right? I wasn't able to fit the keyword big. How to grow fast on YouTube, how to get more views on YouTube, how to grow a gaming YouTube channel. These are all variants of what I have in the title, but they have different keywords like gaming, views, big, that I wasn't able to fit in that title. So these are key phrases that people will also search, and with this extra emphasis on tags that didn't make it into the title, but share a lot in common with the title's key phrases, I'll be able to bring in even higher amounts of search traffic from those phrases when people search those phrases as well. And they tie into the same topic nicely. I only ever use 5 tags. I've consistently gotten to the front page of any search term using only 5 tags. That's what I'd recommend. That's what's been recommended to me. None of us really knows how the YouTube SEO system works behind the scenes because, Google wants to keep that information secret, because if we knew exactly, then everyone would be able to manipulate it. And you have to keep in mind during this whole process, YouTube's ultimate goal is to give the viewer the ultimate viewing experience. They're not interested in helping the channel owner. They're not interested in helping you so much as they are in ensuring that the person viewing on YouTube is having the highest quality viewing experience possible. So they don't want you to be able to manipulate this. But I digress. That strategy is what you want to do when there's a single topic or search term you are making a video for that you know people are going to be searching for with a bunch of varying phrases and in different ways. Because with this type of video, you have people using a variety of different keywords in their searches, right? Like grow, start, get subscribers, get views. But really, at the end of the day, they are looking for the same information that I'm confident I can provide. And thus, I'm trying to be on the receiving end of as many of those separate ways to search for the same thing as I can. Now, the other way to do tagging on a topic that has less variety in the different ways people are going to search it is to simply use your tags to re-emphasize the phrases you have in the title. So if I want to make a video about Destiny DLC, I'm going to come up here to the search bar. And again, what I'm looking for is phrases or keywords that have the full 10 autofill suggestions. Now, it's important to assess who your target audience is. With this video, I was telling people not to buy the Destiny DLC. So naturally, I want to reach people who are curious about that DLC, searching it to see if they perhaps want to buy it. So I'm looking for the popular phrases that people are going to be searching related to Destiny DLC. Well, there's Destiny DLC, obviously, but I also found that Destiny expansion packs was a big one, and there will always be some variety in the keywords and phrases people use to search. You always need to be going after multiple phrases. But the difference with this video is that there aren't nearly as many variants as there are for people searching for YouTube tips. So in this case, some people call it DLC, others call it an expansion pack. I fit both in there because they are both searching for the topic I am posting about. They're asking the same question that I am trying to answer. So I optimize the title to reach both types of viewers. So along with expansion packs and DLC, I use the actual names of the 2 upcoming DLC packs. And so the next step is to turn these keywords into a coherent title. I came up with don't buy the Dark Below or House of Wolves Destiny DLC because Destiny is bad. Now the biggest keyword, not phrase, but the one word that has the biggest value in the search engine, you should try to get it in there twice, but coherently. In this case, Destiny is the keyword that the rest of these search phrases revolve around, right? Destiny is the topic, the game itself. So I got it in there twice for extra emphasis, but you have to make it coherent. Both the viewer and the YouTube engine reject incoherent babble in the titles as if you were just spamming keywords. So I had to turn it into a phrase, a sentence, but I only had a few more characters to work with. So to fit the word Destiny in there a second time coherently, I did a little more research using the search bar autofill, and I realized that a lot of people were searching Destiny is bad, just straight up Destiny is bad. So I put that in there to use as my excuse for having the word Destiny in there a second time. And then in the tags, all I did was re-emphasize the key search phrases I was going after in the title. Now in the description for both these videos, all I do is take all the keywords, the terms and phrases, and whatever I used in the title and tags, and fit them all into a single paragraph that describes the video, but more importantly, re-emphasizes each tag, each keyword, each phrase, whatever. It's important to make the description actually read out like a coherent piece of writing because, again, YouTube is very good at detecting meaningless keyword spam. But ultimately, your goal is to spam your keywords. And it all paid off. If we look over here at the search traffic for this video, it got 60,000 searches for the primary topic keyword, Destiny. And then it got several thousand from every other phrase I tried to fit in there, even the last one, Destiny is bad, which is really just an excuse to put the keyword Destiny in there twice, and putting Destiny in there twice probably helped me get those original 60,000 searches for that keyword Destiny. And it is very important that you know how to tag and title effectively, but what's more important is choosing which search terms to pursue and when to pursue them. This is where I think a lot of YouTubers get stuck. I think most people can figure out the tagging and title process, but this is the wall that most people are hitting. Because you can have a high quality video with an expertly optimized title and tags that still gets nowhere because you chose the wrong target at the wrong time. The basic premise of the entire YouTube system, and I'm sure you already kind of understand this, is that you have to attach your channel and videos to something external, right? So gaming channels attach themselves to certain games. News channels like SXE Phil attach themselves to the news. If you look at someone like Ray William Johnson, his original strategy was brilliant. What he did was cover any video going viral, and so anytime anything went viral, he got to go a little bit viral with it. So the question is, how do you generate traffic off of the external topic or topics that you've chosen consistently and effectively? Now, the primary traffic source that you always want to focus on is searches, getting your videos to the front page of certain search terms. There are other forms of traffic. There's standard word of mouth. You can show up in the related video section of some other videos. Sometimes YouTube will stick your video in the homepage of other people's YouTube homepage in the what to watch area, but you basically have zero control over those types of traffic. And on top of that, even altogether, usually they only ever bring in a fraction of the kind of traffic you'll get off a well-timed and executed video that got to the front page of a certain search phrase. And the best way to get those other kinds of traffic on a video is to make it popular in the searches first. Now, you're always competing for search traffic. There will always be other channels covering the same topic that you are and thus competing for the same search traffic. And this is the first thing that it's really important a lot more people understand. Just because you know a particular search term is very popular and has a high volume of traffic, that does not mean it's going to provide you personally a high volume of search traffic, a meaningful return on investment. Your investment being the time and energy you put into the video, the return being search traffic that comes your way. It seems like most YouTubers are well aware of what search terms are the most popular, of where the most search traffic will be, but very few people ever take the time to assess how much competition there is for that particular topic, which is a mistake. The more competitively saturated a certain topic is, the more channels competing for that traffic, the harder it's going to be to squeeze some traffic out of it for yourself. So for instance, Call of Duty, very popular topic on YouTube, sees a heavy amount of search traffic daily, but it's very rare that you're going to see a significant return on investment with a Call of Duty related video. It is very hard to bring a meaningful amount of Call of Duty related searches your way simply because the topic is so oversaturated by competition. There are literally thousands of channels, many of them quite large, competing for the search traffic on the Call of Duty topic. And because of that, you get squeezed out. Your goal is to find a high traffic search term that has a low amount of competitive saturation, a search term that has a lot of people searching but not a lot of channels competing. It's important to focus on the ratio of traffic to competition, instead of the mistake I think many channels are making, which is to focus solely on how much traffic, just how popular a term is. So I've actually found that the less popular games quite often have a much higher return on investment because they aren't so competitively saturated. For instance, Halo. Halo has a very high volume of search traffic, but there are significantly fewer Halo-based channels competing for said traffic. And because of that, I was able to post this Halo video when I had under 500 subscribers, and it went on to earn over 200,000 views. It earned me tens of thousands of searches and thousands of subscribers. And I really want to emphasize this because I put 10 times the amount of time and energy into Call of Duty that I put into Halo, and looking back, I wish I'd done it the other way around because I put all this effort into what I knew was the most popular search term, but ultimately I was fighting for table scraps when I could have been milking the lion's share of Halo search traffic. And that's what I want to emphasize here, is that it's always more worthwhile to earn the lion's share of a less popular search topic than the table scraps of a more popular search topic. Now, I recommend using this Google Trends tool to research the relative popularity of various search terms and topics. It won't give you exact numbers, but it will give you useful relative information. Using this tool, we can determine which topics are more popular than other topics. We can determine roughly how much more popular certain terms are based on these numbers they provide. So for instance, if a term's search traffic is at 10, we know it's twice as popular than something with search traffic level 5. And most importantly, we can determine when these terms are seeing the highest traffic. Now, the best way to figure out how much competition there is for the search term you're going after and whether or not it will be worthwhile is to search it yourself. So for instance, if we search Advanced Warfare Best Gun, this is a very popular Call of Duty related search term, and we scroll down this front page, we can see that every channel here has a huge subscriber base, and more importantly, the amount of views that each video is getting is significantly less than the amount of subscribers the video owner has. Those two things together tell us that this is not a search term that will provide you much return on investment. Even though it's a very popular search term, you will be at best competing for table scraps. However, if we search something like Halo Anniversary Campaign Legendary Walkthrough, and we scroll down this front page, you'll see these channels have very low subscriber counts, but have earned a massive amount of views, which means the majority of those views had to have been search traffic. It's very easy to see who struck gold, and that's where you should be digging. Now, the traffic to competition ratio that we're talking about here is constantly shifting, and it's going to be different for every search term. So I've talked about the ratio for certain topics generally. Call of Duty is generally oversaturated with competition, but really the ratio is going to be different for every specific term, and it's important to remember that certain search terms will have a high volume of traffic and low competitive saturation, but only at specific times, and you have to determine when those times will be, because even Call of Duty will have a very appealing ratio 3 hours after a new title has launched, right? This is one of the very few COD videos I had that had a lot of success within the search engine, but only because of the timing. I pumped this video out within 6 hours of Black Ops 2 launching. At the time, for a very brief moment, there was a favorable ratio worth going after for search traffic because the game had just released. It was receiving a massive amount of traffic and related searches on YouTube from everyone curious about the new title, and at the same time, it hadn't been out long enough yet for it to be oversaturated by the competition, and as such I was able to post this video when I only had 20 subscribers, and it went on to earn nearly 30,000 views, and it got me my first my first batch of subscriber growth. It got me my first genuine subscriber base. Now, that window of opportunity, that brief period where the searches are high and the competitive saturation is low, will be over quickly. Within 24 hours, the other 1,000 YouTubers out there will have saturated the topic, and nearly every possible search term available will be clogged up and unavailable. But if you can get a video launched within that window of opportunity, it can continue to compete on its own because it was up early enough to get a few thousand views, because the search term itself was relatively uncontested by other YouTubers, and thus people searching for said term only had a limited amount of options to choose from that appear directly related to what they're actually searching. Perhaps they didn't have any options at all. It could very well be your video was the only video that was relevant to what they were searching, and as such, even with only 0 subscribers, your video can get a few thousand views right off the get-go, which gives it the same kind of power in the search engine that it would have had if it had been uploaded by someone with an actual subscriber base. And as such, even after a bunch of other YouTubers start making their own videos related to said search term, your video can continue to compete with those videos because it got a head start in the search. Now, as you get bigger, your subscriber base itself can provide you that head start. But before you have a subscriber base, or when you have a relatively small one, you need to find ways to compensate for the head starts your competition will have, and the best way to compensate is timing and planning. Plan for traffic spikes. Look ahead for major releases or major announcements regarding your topic. If you know a major game is about to launch, start planning ahead. Have a video ready so you can upload ASAP following the release of that product. So for instance, another strategy I use is my how to fix lag videos. I made a quick guide detailing the bare basics of fixing internet problems and ensuring that your internet is running optimally. And it's not advice that is specific to Call of Duty, but it's the kind of commentary I can write up and have ready to go days before the launch of the new game. Then when the game does launch, all I have to do is get some gameplay, slap the comm in there, and I can have this video ready to go and uploaded within hours of midnight on the launch date. And with that strategy, I was able to post this video when I had only about 900 subscribers. It went on to get 50,000 views. It's very possible to drop 20 to 50,000 views on a video even with under 1,000 subscribers, with no subscribers at all. It just takes a lot of planning. And it's not just game releases, it's when the new iPhone drops, it's when a new game console launches, it's when a new highly anticipated movie comes out at midnight, it's on election night. It's anytime you can reasonably expect traffic to spike, and if you can foresee it, you can plan for it. If I hear that on May 4th they're going to do the first major reveal for the next Call of Duty, I'm going to have a gameplay ready long before then, so that as soon as I see that reveal, I put my thoughts down about it into the gameplay I already have edited and ready to go and get that video out within hours of the reveal. Now, another important thing you should assess for each search term you are considering pursuing, whether you have 0 subscribers or 10,000, is its long-term return on investment. So if you pursue a Call of Duty Ghosts related search term a month before Advanced Warfare comes out, that's not going to have much long-term value, because in a month, Ghosts will be irrelevant. So if you're confident there is a particular search term that won't be oversaturated by the competition, then you have to assess how long that search term you are pursuing will remain relevant. The longer it remains relevant, the more growth you will get out of it. As time goes on, the higher the return on investment. With the caveat, you also have to make sure, obviously, that the video itself is remaining relevant. So really consider the long run here. Now, a typical gaming video will lose most of its relevancy and thus its search traffic after the sequel comes out to whatever game you originally made the video for. So if you're going to make a video the night that a game comes out, if you're going to take advantage of one of these brief periods where the traffic is spiked but the competition hasn't had time to catch up with it yet, and you know this is your one shot to get a video into the search engine so that it can grow on its own and compete on its own even without the head start of a subscriber base. This is your golden opportunity to get to the front page of searches and get a video out there that can continue to compete on its own. Choose a search and make a video that will be relevant for the entirety of that game's lifespan, to really get the most out of that one moment, that brief opportunity. That's what I loved about this guide to fixing lag video, because Call of Duty always lags, right? And so this video brought in searches for the rest of that year. It guaranteed me 3 or 4 subscribers every day for an entire year. And it was only possible because I got it up so quickly. Because if you go search how to fix lag in Call of Duty Ghosts now, you'll see a bunch of other people came out with that video. They all had huge subscriber bases, much bigger than I had at the time. I was able to stay on that front page because I got it up so early. But if I had gotten to the front page for a search term that wasn't going to stay relevant for the rest of the year, you know, something like a review, then I wouldn't see as much return on investment. I wouldn't have made the most of that one brief opportunity. Because after Christmas, most people who are going to buy the game have bought it. Most people, whether they own it or don't, already have their opinions on it formed. The community at large has formed a consensus. So something like a review loses a lot of its relevancy within a month or two. Whereas if you can find something that will maintain its relevancy for a year, that's the jackpot. However, along those lines, a really good strategy I found for game reviews that could easily apply to any kind of review for like a product or whatever, assuming you can ascertain a meaningful amount of information about it pre-release. So like, for instance, with most tech products, we know most of the specifics about the product before it comes out. Like, we knew the specifications for the game consoles before they come out. If you can ascertain a meaningful amount of information, you can get a review out long before the game or product even launches. So for instance, I made this Destiny review, right? This is still when I had about 8,000 subscribers. I made this about 2 months before the game actually released. It dropped 40,000 views. Because I played the beta, based my review off of the beta, released it so early, and because of that, it allowed me to pick up a bunch of that pre-release traffic, people just searching for news and information about the game before it launches. So I get a bunch of Destiny searches. These searches made my video stronger and more popular in the search engine, which gave it a huge advantage when the game actually dropped. And because of that, my review was one of the top reviews the day it launched. It got like 20,000 views before the game launched, and then another 30,000 after it launched. It was relevant for like 5 or 6 months. It had a very strong return on investment. Now, another really good example of some videos with a higher return on investment over the long term, videos that stayed relevant for quite some time, and in fact that will continue to stay relevant for a while longer, are the Halo 5 video that I already showed you and this Black Ops 3 video. So again, when I originally posted this Halo 5 video, I had about 100 subscribers. It's gone on to get 200,000 views. And when I posted this Black Ops 3 video, I only had about 10,000 subscribers. It's got 200,000 views. And it will probably have a lot more by the time the next COD actually releases. So what I'm doing with these two videos is going after search terms that aren't particularly popular at the time they are uploaded, but that I know will eventually be popular. So for instance, Halo 5. At the time I had uploaded this video, there was no news regarding Halo 5. There was no information out there about Halo 5. We didn't even know that it would be called Halo 5 Guardians. And because of that, there was literally zero competition for the search term Halo 5. But there was still a small amount of traffic for it. Curious Halo players who I imagine are just looking for any little tidbit of information, any gossip, any rumors regarding the sequel, because we all knew eventually there would be a Halo 5, we just didn't know anything about it. So there was this tiny little bit of uncontested search traffic for it, right? Because there was a small amount of people searching for it, but nobody had anything to say about it yet, so there was no competition for it. So I made this Halo 5 video even before Call of Duty Ghosts was out, and because there was no competition, it slowly brought in this steady stream of traffic. bringing my channel moderate amounts of growth, but more importantly, gradually making the video itself stronger and more popular in the search engine. And the result was that by the time rumors and information did start leaking out about Halo 5, my Halo 5 video was already at like 20,000 views. It had a significant head start on any competition. It had the kind of head start that a channel with 50,000 subscribers would get, and as such, it held a strong position on the front page of Halo 5 searches for a long time. And then when searches for Halo 5 finally blew up, my video blew up with them. And now it's big enough that it will continue to bring in Halo 5 searches up until Halo 5 is actually released. And then when Halo 5 does actually release, it'll probably see one final huge spike that day, that week, and then it'll slowly die out after that. Quickly die out after that, actually. So it's a huge return on investment. It brings me a significant amount of views and channel growth, and it's a random video I posted 2 years ago when I had less than 1,000 subscribers. Always keep an eye on the long game, plan ahead. And that same exact strategy worked even better with this Black Ops 3 video that I posted when I only had about 10,000 subscribers. Then in the last 6 months, it has gained about 200,000 views as, you know, Treyarch and Activision keep sort of subtly teasing the next Call of Duty. People want to know what it's going to be. People sort of assume it's going to be Black Ops 3. But it's this huge return on investment that worked for the exact same reasons as that Halo 5 video. But for this strategy to work, you have to really utilize your talents as a video maker, because you have to be able to come up with something meaningful to talk about in your video that actually relates to the topic, which can be tricky when there's no information about it. Your options are limited. You have to either speculate or predict. So for instance, the basic premise of the Halo 5 video was that I felt there was an emerging trend in Halo to cater to a much more casual audience, and I talked about why that trend was gaining steam with not only Halo 5 but the entire industry, and why I was pretty sure that it would continue in Halo 5. And not only do you have to relate, but the video itself has to be very, very good to get a high enough watch time, or the search engine will just get rid of it eventually. And getting a high watch time on this type of video can be very difficult, because a lot of people will click away as soon as they realize it's not actual footage of the actual thing they're curious about. So your job is to make sure that those people who do stick around the whole time. Anytime you make a video, you want it to be as high quality as possible. You are fighting for every second of watch time. There will always be people who click away in the first 10 seconds. There will always be people who click away 5-10 minutes in. You want to fight to keep each person for as long as possible. Now, the title is clickbait, no doubt about it. I heavily emphasized Halo 5 multiplayer in this title. You can see I'm doing the same thing I was talking about earlier in the tags and title strategy portion of this video. In my experience, if the video is high quality and you can actually relate it back to the topic used in the clickbait title in at least one meaningful way, even if it's just speculation or predictions, people won't give you too much trouble about clickbait. Almost all of my videos take advantage of clickbait to some extent, in that they are provocative or overemphasize a topic that has little relevance to the actual video. But I've never ever been criticized for clickbait, which I actually find very surprising, and I can only assume that's because people are somewhat enjoying the thing they find on the other end. Now, sooner or later, almost every search term loses most of its juice as things gradually become less new. Whatever it is, they start to see less and less searches, and even if you have found a search term that remains relevant and popular, like I'm sure there will be a constant flow of searches for the new gen consoles throughout the remainder of their lifespan, but even in those situations, sooner or later, the video gets pushed out by newer videos more relevant to the latest information or developments regarding said topic or search term, because as people begin to realize your video is outdated, it'll get lower and lower watch times and thus less and less search traffic. So you have to keep going after new search terms. So the next question is, how do we think of new search terms to go after? The best method I've found is similar to what we used earlier in the search bar. We study the autofill suggestions. What I like to do is enter in a popular primary topic. So for example, I'll enter in Advanced Warfare, and then I'll go through A to Z, Advanced Warfare A, Advanced Warfare B, Advanced Warfare C, and so on. And you can really find a lot of good examples of things people are searching. Or what you could do is something like Advanced Warfare is, Advanced Warfare how to, Advanced Warfare best, right? Think of keywords like that. There's a bunch of creative suggestions that autofill will give you. If it's in autofill, it's being searched. And then when you find a term that you're interested in going after, you need to check to see if it will have a significant return on investment. Search the term yourself, just like we did earlier, and inspect the channels that have gotten to the front page of that particular search term. If the views they are getting outnumber the amount of subscribers they have, you know it means they're getting search traffic off of it. You know there's a high amount of search traffic on it. Measure the competitive saturation. If the amount of views are significantly less than the person's subscriber base, that suggests that most of those views are probably from that person's subscriber base and that there hasn't actually been a lot of search traffic on that video. And of course, you can actually look at the analytics of somebody else's video sometimes if they don't have it, privatized, and you can learn some useful stuff from there as well. Another great way to know what search terms are going to be popular is to look at what search terms were popular for a similar topic or product in the past. So if I see that best class setups was a huge popular term in Battlefield 4, it's probably going to be a huge popular term in Battlefield Hardline as well. Or if I see something like, how to repair iPhone was really popular for the iPhone 4 or whatever we're on now, I know it's going to be really popular for the iPhone 5 SGQ or whatever it is. Figure out what people are searching for in relation to your topic, and then make the best video you can within the parameters of what they are searching. And it's okay to make videos that aren't designed specifically for the purpose of acquiring new search traffic. If you feel the creative urge to make other types of videos that don't necessarily have much search potential, do it, because you also want to make sure you are staying active to solidify the gains you've made. You want to keep posting to make the subscribers you have earned stay engaged with your channel, because the idea here is that success begets success. Every time you get a popular video in search traffic and it earns you subscribers, it should be easier to get your next big video in the search because now you have a bigger subscriber base to give you a head start. But if you're not staying active, you're going to lose that subscriber base. I've had some troubles with that in the past, obviously, those of you who've been following my channel. My problem is that my videos take a long fucking time to make, and sometimes I burn out and have to take a little break from making them. And don't forget the equation. When you bring someone in through search traffic, the amount of total views you get will depend entirely on how many videos that person watches on your channel, right? It's search traffic times the amount of videos you have on your channel. How many videos does each person you've brought in end up watching? You want as many great videos as possible so that if the person is brought in through the search and wants to see more of you, they can see more, and preferably more of you that they like, and thus feel compelled to subscribe. The more videos you have, the more videos new viewers can watch, the more views you will get. But you want more than just views. You want subscribers, you want growth and power in the search engine. So never post anything but your best work. The more videos you have, the better, but if they are shitty, then you're risking that the person you brought in from the search traffic sees a weak video and goes somewhere else instead. You want every video on your channel to be your absolute best work, so that every single video that this potential subscriber clicks on impresses them. Never post a video with a mentality of, why not? Now, making high quality videos can be difficult, and it's going to vary widely depending on your topic and genre and whatever else. But I will say this, the best way to guarantee a high quality video is to create a video that could be either a radio program or a silent movie. You need to make what the person is hearing high quality enough so that if it was the only part that existed, it would still be good enough to keep them around. And you need to make the visual strong enough so that if they had no sound, they would still be enough to spike curiosity and keep people interested in what they were going to see next. Take advantage of all the senses of your viewer and make sure the visuals and audio relate to one another. You're telling a coherent story. I hate it when I see people putting in visuals that are just there for the sake of being there. Make sure your audio and visuals connect, otherwise you're going to cause cognitive confusion, and confusion leads to less views. Once the viewer realizes the visual is unrelated, they're going to stop paying attention to it. You want them paying as much attention to as much of your video as possible because you want them to watch that video as long as possible, because longer watch times are what make you competitive in the search engine. If you have strong watch times, YouTube will find a way to get people watching your videos. YouTube's goal is to provide the viewer the best experience possible, and they measure that by how long the viewer is watching and their level of engagement. So if you have a high watch time, YouTube wants people on YouTube longer. If you have a video that keeps them on YouTube longer, YouTube will take advantage of it. They will get it to the people it needs to get to. And long videos are good for getting into the search engine. I see a lot of YouTubers say short videos are the way to go, and that may be true for building up your library generally, but if you can make a really long video that's high quality enough that people watch a lot of it, it will go so far in the search engine. Like, if I have a 20-minute video, even if it's only averaging 30% audience retention, it's still going to come out to a longer average watch time than most other videos that don't even break 8 minutes, and that's going to help me a lot in the search engine. Now, once you bring people in, once you start growing, be prepared for some negativity, but don't ever fear it. It seems like the vast majority of YouTubers fear negativity, fear controversy. Let me tell you this right now. My two best videos, the two videos that have brought me the most growth and success on YouTube, are my two most controversial videos, and they get a lot of dislikes. And if you look at the comments, all the top comments are extremely negative, and the vast majority of the new comments I get on those videos are always negative and mean, and I try not to read them because it makes me sad. But that's not the measurement that matters to me. The only thing I'm measuring is likes and subscribers. Every day it gets more likes than dislikes. It's a high ratio, about a third of the ratings are dislikes, but more likes than dislikes. It's bringing in a net positive amount of subscribers, and it's bringing in a very high amount of views every day. That's a good, successful video. Something you should understand about the human race is that negativity is always more motivational than positivity. The content person is significantly less likely to leave a positive comment than the unhappy person leaving a negative one. We know this to be true. That's why political campaigns are always so negative and nasty, because they know that making you like them won't get votes. It's about making you hate the other guy. That's where the votes are. Don't be intimidated by negativity, because that negativity is almost always a vocal minority. Measure likes and subscribers. If the comments are nasty, don't read them. You made someone mad with what you have to say, let them be mad. Let them boost the engagement score on your video. Don't be afraid to share your opinions. Don't be afraid to jump in the lion's den. Internet hate is nothing to fear. I poke the hornet's nest as often as possible because I don't care what they are saying. As long as they are talking about me, I'm winning. Guys like Eminem and Bill Maher and Rush Limbaugh, they didn't acquire their massive amounts of success by playing nice with everyone all the time. Their success is built on a foundation of controversy. My haters are my motivators. Lastly, I want to talk about the business side of things because I know a lot of you are interested in trying to make some money. Now, I want to clarify a bunch of shit that so many people are so confused about. First of all, you do not need a network to run ads and monetize your videos. You can set that up with YouTube by yourself using an AdSets account. Your channel CPM does not vary from network to network. The only thing that varies is how much money your network is taking out of your paycheck. You need to determine if the amount of money your network is taking from you is worth the amount of support they are providing. In most cases, it's not worth it at all. Do not run ads when you are still a small channel. Ads make money, but they hurt growth. When you are a small channel, your only goal should be to grow large enough to the point where there's actually some meaningful amount of money to be made. So many viewers click away from a video within the first 10 seconds. You don't want the first 10 seconds they see to be an ad, especially when you're a small channel. Viewers are taking a chance on your video when you're a small channel. If they see it has very few views and you have very few subs, they are already going to be tempted to click away. If the first 10 seconds of your video is a fucking ad, you're going to lose so many views than you would otherwise, and you're sacrificing all these views in growth so that you can make like $2 a year. And then if you're stupid like me, I signed on with RPM, they're going to take 40% of your paycheck for nothing. They aren't giving you anything. Don't get scammed. Don't sign on with these predatory networks that are trying to nab up bulk amounts of small channels. They hurt your growth. They have nothing to offer, and they are going to rob you of a bunch of what little sum of money you make anyways. There's only one network that I would recommend you use. It's the one I use. It's Union for Gamers. I have a referral in the description below. They give you 90% of your paycheck, and there's no lock-in contract. So if you don't like it, you can just leave whenever you want. No other network offers that. They will take 40% of your paycheck and lock you in for a year so they can continue to rob you for a year. And what RPM does, those sneaky little fucks, is that they have a clever little clause in the original contract you signed that says unless you give them a month's notice before your contract's expiration date, they can auto sign you back up for another annual contract without even contacting you. So everyone fails to see that little clause in the original 100-page iTunes style contract you agreed to. You know what I'm talking about, where you have to scroll through all that shit and click I agree. And everyone gets stuck getting robbed for a whole nother year. And at that same time, it shits all over your channel growth because ads are bad for growth. Use Union for Gamers or just use a traditional Google AdSense account by itself. If you're not big enough to apply to Union for Gamers, then just be patient and wait, because you shouldn't be getting with a network that early anyways when you're that small, because you aren't going to make any meaningful amount of money and you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You'll make more money faster if you're patient and wait till you're big enough to actually make money. The amount of money you make per view is not determined by network. It's determined wholly by how much advertisers are paying for ads on YouTube. It will vary day to day. It gets really high during November and December for Christmas because during that time so many different companies want as much advertising as possible, so they have to pay even more to get ad space because there's higher demand for that ad space. But then in January, when no one is buying anything because they are tapped out from Christmas, nobody runs ads, you make very little money in January, so take your vacations in January. We live in a world where billion-dollar companies can be run by less than 100 people. That's Twitch. We live in the era of globalization, where any work that can be done overseas will be done overseas. We live in a world where entire industries can be wiped out by a single device, like the Google app that can translate any language by sound or by simply viewing text like on a book. It can view it through a camera and translate it on your screen, even in the same font. So everyone who dropped 30K on a language degree in the last 10 years suddenly just got screwed. We're set to progress more in the next 100 years than we did in 1,000 years before this. It's chaos. You don't know that the skills you have now will matter in 10 years. 3D printers, Google and Facebook are being run by AI technology. We have robots building robots. You don't know if your job will exist. You don't know if the job you want will exist. The job you end up getting probably doesn't exist now. Self-employment has never been more important. YouTube's role in the modern economy boils down to three things: entertainment, information gathering, and advertising. These three things will always have a role to play in the economy and in our global culture. There will always be a place for you here. There is nothing safer than self-employment. There's nothing more fulfilling than following your passion and dreams, and we benefit from every talented person who finds success on YouTube. It gives those YouTubers already on YouTube more competition. It makes them better YouTubers. That gives the viewer higher quality videos and more options. That increases the effectiveness of advertising taking place on this platform. That benefits our whole economy, as does any self-employed, self-sufficient human being. If you have gotten this far in the video, then you want it. We know this, and you will have it. Just don't stop. Please be sure to like the video so that others can find it. The For the Win query of the day is what makes YouTube special to you and why. This is Batman, signing out.